I think this one is a really important class because so many of us feel lost. We feel like we don't have a purpose. We feel like life is just kind of meh. And we're kind of running around trying to figure out who we are. And I know I did this myself, especially after my spiritual awakening, where I was like, who am I? What am I supposed to do? What are my gifts? And I would look at my friends, my family, and their gifts were really apparent, like one would be a really good singer or a musician, or, one would be really good at this or the other. And I was like, I felt like I had nothing. And I remember going to my mom and I was crying to her. And I was like, this is just not fair. Everybody else has these spiritual gifts. Um, they know, pardon me, they know, their intuition. And I can't even figure out my intuition, you know? And she was telling me that, sometimes it just keeps taking more effort, that the more we use our intuition and our spiritual gifts, the more that they develop and the more that they come to us. And so this class is essentially helping you understanding the spiritual gifts that you have within. And the question that I want you guys to kind of think about during this class is, what would it be like if you could control your life in a way that would awaken something in your inner soul and help you experience a pivotal shift that would lead you to a more fulfilled life? um you know and that's kind of the question I want you to have on your heart with this, because even and we've all asked this question, like, do I have a spiritual gift? You may already know if you have a spiritual gift, but you might lack the knowledge on how to unlock or understand your gifts. Or, how do you use that gift in the day-to-day life? We're in this very fast-paced world, and sometimes it's like, how do I use these gifts in the real world? Because like one of my gifts is like this spiritual weirdness, and it's like in your day to day, it's like, how do you really use this? And I will tell you, um my intuition, is one of my spiritual gifts, and that gift really came through for me even prior to going down the spiritual path. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I own a manufacturing company called Boingo Baby. It's a little cloth diaper company. And my intuition came through with that business. We were getting ready to get a new manufacturer for products. We were interviewing manufacturers in China. And when you do that, you get samples and quotes, and so it's a process. It takes a few weeks to a month to get, sometimes longer, to get sample prices. And so we were getting all of these quotes back, and there was one company in particular that everything on paper looked good. Pricing looked good, samples looked good. But here's my intuition, one of my spiritual gifts coming forward, going, do not work with this company. And I'm like, huh. Back then I was like, nope, intuition, you're drunk. I'm like this really business badass chick. No, you're wrong. This is awesome. They have great samples, great pricing. This is perfect, right? And as we started to work with the company, they asked for more money and more money. And then they just disappeared with all of my money. And I was like, oh shit. And they're in China. So I'm over here in the US, not much I could do. And so that was a huge lesson. And you think that I would learn how to use my intuition, like, again, but no, my spiritual awakening and near-death experience literally came from me not using my intuition. So don't be afraid. Like, if you have spiritual gifts and you don't know how to use them, I had somebody yesterday, or was it yesterday or day before, when I had a live, they go, well, I've heard you lose your spiritual gifts. No, you don't lose your spiritual gifts. Your spiritual gifts are things that you are born with, and they're there to help facilitate your path on this planet, your journey on this planet, right? And so that's really, really important for you guys to remember. Now, some of you have seen my sacred dream journal, my spiritual journal, and it's very hard to trust. I'm still working on trusting mine. You see a lot of comments where it's hard to trust that. Don't kick yourself if you're not able to listen to your intuition. It's okay, right? It's okay. It takes some practice. And there's so many times that I don't still, my intuition will be like, do this. And I'm like, no thanks. And then I don't do it. And then I'm like, oh shoot, dang it. And sometimes it's just little simple, dumb things like buy this at the grocery store. And then I don't. And then I'm like, shit, I should have done that. Dang it. Now I have to go back to the store. So sometimes spirit, and creator and God and the universe will kind of test you with little stupid shit just to see if you're listening too. So kind of keep that in mind.